The Pilot Falcon is a cigar-shaped fountain pen that's offered in a variety of colors. It's also offered in two different finishes, the plastic version that we have here today, as well as a metal version, which is a little bit wider and is able to fit the Con 70 converter. The bottom finial is flat, matching the top finial. And then we have a thin band that separates it from the rest of the cap. The clip is a unique shaped arch style clip that's spring-loaded and very functional. The cap has a gradual taper down to a two-piece cap band which reads Namiki, followed by a series of X's, Japan, and then another series of X's. This pen is from the 1990s, and in recent years Pilot has rebranded this from Namiki to Pilot. There's then a little bit of exposed plastic followed by a step down to the barrel. The cap comes off in 1, 2, and about a half turns to reveal the most striking feature of this pen, and that's its bill-shaped 14-karat gold nib. I have this one in a soft broad, but it's available in a wide variety of other sizes. And on the back we have the uniquely shaped plastic feed. The section starts with a little bit of plastic, followed by a metal portion, and then a larger piece of plastic that is slightly hourglass shaped. There's then a small metal band, followed by a step up to threads that are smooth to the touch. The barrel then has a gradual taper down to another gold band, followed by the end finial. In the hand, the pen is a great length, very lightweight and well balanced, suitable for both notes and long writing sessions. And the cap posts deeply and securely. It does slightly transfer the weight towards the back of the pen, but it's still very comfortable for long writing sessions. In terms of size comparisons, here's the Pilot Falcon, a typical Pilot G2 rollerball pen, and your standard Sharpie. Before we get into the disassembly of the Pilot Namiki Falcon, I wanted to take a moment here to compare it with two other Pilot fountain pens that use cartridge converter systems. Up top, we have the Pilot Custom Heritage 912. This one also has flat finials, similar to the Falcon. And down below, we have the Pilot Custom 74. This one has rounded finials, but it also features gold style trim that's similar to the Falcon. We can see in its cap form, all three pens are about the same length when it comes to the main cap and body. However, the Falcon is shorter due to its smaller finials. The Falcon is the only one of the three that has a spring-loaded clip. The other two have bent metal clips, though they are different styles. And let's take a look at these pens uncapped. All three pens have caps that unscrew, and all three pens feature 14-karat gold nibs. The 912 has the Pilot standard number 10 size nib, the 74 has the Pilot standard number 5 size nib, and the Falcon has that unique bill-shaped nib that we just took a look at. All three pens are about the same length in terms of their body when they're uncapped, though the Falcon is a little bit shorter, again due to its smaller sized finials. Let's take a look at these pens posted. All three caps post securely and deeply, and again, all three pens are about the same length when they're posted. However, the Falcon is a little bit shorter due to its smaller end finials. And it's also important to note that the Falcon is the only one of these three models that does not fit the Con 70 converter. Disassembling the Pilot Falcon, all you need is some gripping material, and I'll be sure to post a link in the description below. Cap unscrews. And if we take a look inside, we can see there is a clear cap liner at the bottom. However, it's not very easy to remove, so for regular maintenance, I recommend just flushing this with warm soapy water. The barrel unscrews from the section. And then here we can see a converter. This is the one that came with my Moonman A1. It's pretty similar to the Pilot Con 50. If you buy a modern Pilot Falcon, it's going to come with either the Con 40 if you get it in the resin, or the Con 70 if you get it with a metal finish. The converter just pulls right out. And then if you want to disassemble this further, grab your gripping material and gently hug the nib and feed and give it a pull. At this point, the section is empty. And then we have the nib and feed, and they just come right apart. And at this point, the pen is fully disassembled. To reassemble, let's start with the nib and feed. The nib just sits right on top of the feed. It has an arch in the back of it that hugs it. Right there. And then if we take a look at our section, the front of it has a slight cutaway that's arched, and that arch lines up with the nib. So we want to make sure that that arch is at the top. And that slides right in place with a little click. We'll then attach our converter, followed by our barrel, and lastly our cap. And now we're ready to ink up. Inking up our Pilot Namiki Falcon, today I selected Waterman Harmonious Green, which is a nice, well-saturated green that has good shading. Take the cap off our bottle and our pen. Unscrew the barrel. Let's make sure that our piston is all the way down, which it is. Submerge the nib into the ink and screw up the piston. In order to get a full fill, I'm going to extend the piston rod one more time and draw it back up. And maybe I'll do it one more time. Due to the design of the Pilot converters, it is very challenging to get a full fill. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. We'll go ahead and wipe off our excess ink. Put our barrel back on our pen. Followed by our cap. And also cap up the bottle. And now we're ready to write. Okay, writing with the Pilot Namiki Falcon, the cap unscrews. And today we're writing with a soft broad 14 karat gold nib. Soft broad is abbreviated SB. And it is a beautifully tuned nib. This one writes about as well as any nib that I've seen. It's smooth, it's wet, it has just a hair of feedback so you get a feeling for what kind of paper you're writing on. It is just a joy to write with. Our ink is Waterman Harmonious Green. For flex, I'm going to turn the page. You can certainly get some line variation with this pen, especially if it's the soft variant. And I have seen people writing with the smaller nib sizes going down to the soft extra fine, where you really do get like a modern flex writing pen. For reverse writing, it's actually very smooth, and it lays down a thinner line. The feed mostly kept up. It got a little bit dry as I got to that T, but it is certainly a pen capable of reverse writing for a thinner line. And of course, if you want, you can go light or you can go heavy with this nib. So what do I think of the Pilot Namiki Falcon? I really like this pen. I think that it has a very mature, sophisticated look that is a pretty timeless design. The clip is a spring-loaded clip that's extremely functional, and the styling kind of reminds me of a falcon wing. I do kind of wish, though, that Pilot would have made it so you could hinge it from the back, similar to the Lamy 2000, but that's really just a nitpick. In terms of areas to improve with this pen, I do think that the amount of turns it takes to uncap, being 2.5, borders on being excessive. Maybe that's something that Pilot has addressed in recent years. I don't know for modern Falcons. And then in terms of this nib, as I showed, it writes beautifully. It's amazingly tuned, buttery smooth, with some flex, which is really nice to see, especially on a modern pen. The design of the nib might be a little bit polarizing. I think it's a nice design. It looks somewhat like the bill of a Falcon, but some people might not like how unusual it looks. I like the pen in the hand. It's extremely comfortable, and I can easily use this for multiple pages of writing. The cap also posts beautifully if you are one that loves posting caps. And probably the biggest room I have for improvement is the converter. I wish that Pilot would make the resin style of this pen as wide as the metal style so that you could fit a Con 70 converter. I don't like using the Con 40, which I've expressed in previous videos as well. It just does not have much ink supply, and the agitators are just a little bit annoying as they rattle around in your pen. And lastly, I also like the fact that they offer this pen in many different colors. That's something that Pilot doesn't do on all of their models, which really is a nice thing to see because you can mix and match your ink with your pen. So I think that this is a fantastic writer. It's a unique pen, and one that has a modern flex nib, which is pretty rare to see. It's a very comfortable pen and a very reliable writer, and one that I think is a great addition to many collections. And that just leaves me to say, thank you for watching.